Hello, and we are back. Welcome to Sports Lessons. I am Auweezy.
I am Ilz.
This is our second episode in the rejuvenated podcast, I guess podcast universe, multi-universe. We're all doing
Oh
it
yeah.
these days. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for listening to our first episode about the Olympics and Ryan Lochte. Here, we're going to be doing an episode about the NFL. Now, the NFL season is coming to a start September 5. I don't know who's playing. I think it's the Chiefs versus
Chiefs and
some
Ravens.
Chiefs and Ravens. That'll be a good game. That'll be
That's gonna be yeah.
hoping it's not like the playoff game where it was just sort of they just laid down and let the Chiefs win. But I'm excited. Usually Thursday night football has two weird teams playing, but these are two amazing teams. Now, our fantasy league is also starting. Our $20 fantasy football league. That's the name of the football league. This is our second season. We're moving from 8-person to 12-person. We are looking for one more member. If you
Just sending an ad out there.
putting that out there, if
Yeah.
by the time you listen to this and we still have a member, you can join. We're also doing two QBs. We're doing three wide. We're changing everything up. I'm excited. And yeah, I just want to win, Bills.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the champ. I'm the reigning champ right
I
now.
know, and I'm
So
second place.
I
So
got the crown. Yeah.
all right, okay, stop. But I thought today we would do a little bit of a discussion on one of the most infamous trades in sports history, not even just the NFL. This trade involved 18 players. It's the biggest trade in NFL history involving the amount of players. And it was so lopsided that it made it infamous. But it wasn't totally lopsided in the beginning. Let's check in on this. So, do you know who Herschel Walker is?
Partly, yes.
Yes. Do you know him as a football player or do you know him as the U.S. Senate candidate?
So I actually know him more as the US Senate candidate or whatever,
All
more
right.
as a politician. I do know that the trade is very infamous. I don't know the details like that.
All right. Okay. That's perfect then. I thought we would start off talking about just who he is as a politician. So, sort of starting at the end of who he is and then going back to the beginning and then do a little bit of a middle part there.
Love it. Love it.
But he is 62 years old and he ran as a Republican in the 2022 U.S. Senate seat election for Georgia because he's from Georgia. He was up against Raphael Warnock, who is a Democrat. This is his second time running for the seat. They actually had to do two trades because the first trade had neither of them hitting 50%. It was so close. It was like 40,000 people difference between the two.
Oh wow.
Raphael won, but it was so close that they did a runoff election and then Raphael won after that. But it's not him losing that really merits talking about this U.S. Senate candidacy. It was what came out. I wrote here in my notes that he is a deeply unserious person. Um, yeah, he's anti everything, just like a lot of Republicans are, which that didn't really shock me. But he's very hypocritical. He in one place he said that homes that have no man of the house aren't great homes. And it turns out that he was not there for a lot of his kids in
I'm
their
dead.
lives. I don't know if you
Wow.
remember this, but on Twitter, one of his sons came out and just completely eviscerated him.
Yeah, I remember that partly. His son is it's pretty big on TikTok, I want to say, or something like that.
Yeah, he is. He's like
Yeah.
20, 21, at least at the time, and gained a lot of traction. And I think the biggest thing, and we've talked about this before, is that Herschel Walker didn't completely deny all those allegations. He,
You got me.
another thing that I was reading up on, I didn't know about this, is that he claimed he graduated from the University of Georgia. He did not. He did not graduate. I know he did 3 years in college and then he left to go play professional football. Which is like it's I don't know what kind of like these lies.
It's one of those like why lie about it type things.
Exactly, right? Like
Right.
we
Well,
can
what do you
catch you
gain?
immediately.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is Herschel Walker in the limelight right now, right? He hasn't done anything in the last 2 years because he lost, which is, I guess, good. But how about we go all the way back to the early 1980s when he was at the University of Georgia, didn't graduate, but was a student.
That's important. Okay. Yeah.
All right. I did not know about this part, but he is considered. the greatest college player of all time.
I'm going to call BS on that. I don't
It's
know.
not like like no, like I'm like I looked this up and the College Football Association or the CFB.
Oh, it's an official title.
It's an like I'm not. It's not just me. This is like the multiple lists have come out. I've checked, and he is considered the greatest college player of all time. I didn't know that. Like
He must have been damn good then. Damn.
he played 3 years, right? In all 3 years, he hit at least 1,600 yards, right? So he hit 1,600 yards each year or more. In 1980, he went undefeated. Like him and his team went undefeated. They made it all the way to the championship and they won. He has won the Heisman, right? This is a story. Like I look at those stats; these are really good stats, right?
Okay,
But
yeah.
I was shocked to learn that he was. I guess at the same time, like if you asked me, I wouldn't know who to say. Like who would you say would be the best college player of all time?
I don't watch a lot of college football. I don't care
Exactly.
about college football. Um, I didn't expect it to be Herschel Walker. I'm just
Yeah.
like, there's so many people, right? But I guess yeah, if he went undefeated 1 year, if he won the Heisman 1 year, yeah, he probably is the greatest.
Yeah. So that was his college career, but he didn't go to the NFL. He did not go to the NFL. Do you know where he went? Try just guess.
CFL?
He did not go to the CFL. It would be a lot cooler if he did. Um, he went to the
XFL?
USFL,
Oh, okay, okay.
the United States Football League. The USFL ran from 1983 to 1985, and he played for those years. It ran in a spring summer like time, so it did not compete with the NFL. All right.
Smart, yeah.
This is how good Herschel Walker was. In 1983, he had 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, I don't know about the competition of the USFL. Like
I know
a
it's not
lot of
much, but
players.
still.
So like the USFL and the NFL fought over star players, right? Like these guys would come out from college and they would like do a bidding war for them. So that's why like Herschel Walker went to the USFL. Like Doug Flutie, who's a storied NFL player, also went to the USFL. Um, there was no salary cap. There was no
So
salary
you could
cap.
just
So
whatever you can
everybody's
play
just
them.
throwing money around, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you a taste of how this place only ran for 3 years. So he also played for the New Jersey Generals. That was the team that he played for. Now, that is important because, and I also didn't know about this, right? They folded, the whole league folded in 1986. All right. The thing happened was the owner of the Generals asked, and many, like he told all the owners, they all got together and they told the USFL, you should run during the fall winter time, which is against the NFL, and they wanted it done on purpose because they wanted the USFL to fold so they could just join the NFL. I know, like this
Oh,
is
okay.
complicated. Can you guess who the owner of the New Jersey Generals was
The owner of the New Jersey Generals in 1980?
in 1983
I can tell you.
or 1986? Sorry,
I
it was
can tell you.
Donald Trump.
No way.
I swear to God, I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Wait, so why did he purposely want it to fold?
I think they just didn't want to be a part of like I think they thought that they could just be a part of the NFL. All right. But it was weird. Like the USFL sued the NFL, but they only won in victory only. So they didn't sue them for money. So they actually won $1. And because of
$1. That's
some
crazy.
rule, they got $3. But because of all these court like proceedings, they couldn't run another season. So afterwards it was done. They just
That's
folded
insane.
and all the players went to different teams in the NFL.
That's insane. Wow.
I did
Okay.
not
I did
expect
not.
Donald Trump part.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I was like thinking, I'm like, maybe some owner right now, maybe the what's his face? The guy from the Commanders,
Yeah, that
Dan
guy.
Schneider.
Yeah,
Maybe Dan Schneider, owned
yeah.
it or whatever.
Hopefully,
No, that's crazy.
yeah. Actually, a little bit of a sidetrack, but the new owner of the Commanders is considering changing the name again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
let's
gonna get
make it racist again.
no. They go right back to um. Anyway, so 1987, sorry, 1986, he joins the Cowboys. This is the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Dallas Cowboys we've known for a while because they're owned by Jerry Jones, who is still the owner. He is so old.
Yeah, he's
He
getting
looked
older.
old in
He's
1987.
How old is he right now? He is 81 years old. He's gonna croak soon.
He's still kicking though. He's like making trades and getting too involved with the team. Because
Yeah.
just so you guys know, he's the owner. He's not the general manager, yet he acts like he is, and that is the issue.
Yeah.
Now, Herschel Walker joins in 1986, fought over the role of like starting running back, right? So Jimmy Johnson is the famous coach, coaching the Dallas Cowboys. Herschel Walker convinces Jimmy Johnson that he wants to be the starting running back, and then bam, 1987, 1988, he is a Pro Bowl both years, right? In 1988, he actually hits 2,000 combined yards, which is unreal. It's amazing. He
Yeah.
is a bona fide star. Like
Yeah.
he's a great player. Now in 1989, so the Cowboys haven't like they haven't won. They like up until those years with Herschel Walker, they have not won. And Jimmy Johnson's on a walk, and he's like, I need to make a blockbuster trade. This is the only way it'll work, right? Which, when you think about it, is like this is a ridiculous thing to think. How can you as a GM slash coach think that? But knowing what the Cowboys become, it was a pretty good move. So he actually wanted to trade Michael Irvin, right? Who is, as you know, as everyone knows, a really good wide receiver that played for the Dallas Cowboys for 12 years.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, and this is another like the story of the Herschel Walker trade has given me like so many different like pop-ups, and this is the last big pop-up, I guess, or second last. So he wanted to trade Michael Irvin to the Los Angeles Raiders to Al Davis. So Al Davis is the famous Raiders owner. He came up the I guess came up with the phrase of just win, baby.
Yeah.
He all he said was just win, baby, and they won. And they in the 70s and 80s they won. His son right now is the one with the weird haircut. Um,
Ugly man. I'm sorry.
it's the
I gotta
haircut. The
say.
haircut makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
So Al Davis is like Jerry Jones, basically. So Jimmy Johnson contacts Al Davis and he's like, I will trade you Michael Irvin. And I swear to God, Al Davis says, don't you guys like who will catch the ball for you guys if you trade me Michael Irvin? So they didn't trade Michael. I'm thinking like Al Davis, like, what are you doing?
No, it was too good to be true. I feel like he's
This
yeah.
is what my research shows.
Yeah.
So he's not trading Michael Irvin. He's gonna trade Herschel Walker. All right. Now the other team in this big trade is the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings perennial like they make the playoffs, but they can't make the Super Bowl. They need that one guy. They need that one guy, and it is Herschel Walker.
Can we put a
So
pause on this for a second though? If I'm an owner or a GM or whatever, and I'm trying to make the team better, and I'm like, let me make a blockbuster trade. Why would I trade? Why would I even consider trading two of my best players? Why not just get like? Isn't the goal to get someone good to come in? You know,
right,
send off like picks and whatnot. Like it's like it's like the Vikings saying, "Oh, I gotta get better. Let's get rid of Justin Jefferson
right.
and bring in anyone." I'm
But
just saying, I don't.
if you're gonna trade a blockbuster player, what are you gonna get back? You think you're gonna get back a blockbuster guy, or you get something else?
But I'm saying normally teams get rid of their really, really good player. Think of McCaffrey, right? He
Right,
left the Panthers and they got picks. You know, they're trying to rebuild. They got like little pieces here and there to try to rebuild. You don't try to sell off your best player to be competitive.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Not, I don't know what the mindset here is, but let's
Hey,
continue.
I get what you're saying, but I guess he saw this as like a mini rebuild. I was like, we're not moving anywhere. We got to do something. This is the long run. This is what they did. So
No, yeah,
this involved 18 total players in the end. Right. It's like I'm not gonna go through every player, but it was like a gigantic tree of like what each pick because each pick got like traded or used to trade for this. Like it got all over the place. The Vikings got Herschel Walker and about four picks. Right. They're like third, second round picks. That's all they got.
that's crazy.
The Cowboys got three first round picks, three second round picks, one third round pick, Darren Nelson, Jesse Solomon, Isaac Holt, David Howard, and Alex Stewart. So that's a lot of draft picks, and that's a lot of players.
Yeah,
There was one thing here. This is what makes it. And when they did a press conference, Jimmy Johnson said, "This is a great train robbery," and he actually got flack for that. But here's why it became a great train robbery. Now, I always thought that they got a bunch of first round picks. But actually, 5 of those picks total, not even just first round, 5 of those picks that I mentioned were conditional, right? They were conditional on if those players stayed or not on the team, the players that they just got. So the Cowboys got Darren Nelson, Jesse Solomon, Isaac Holt, David Howard, Alex Stewart. If they got cut or they got waived, those conditional picks become the Cowboys.
That seems so unfair. Wait.
Well,
If
that's the
they
part of
got
the trade. That's
sorry. If they got cut or traded, the picks become the Cowboys.
yes.
Okay,
They're
sorry.
conditional
I was
on
like,
yeah.
okay.
So the Vikings thought that all right, Jimmy Howard wants the players, so we're gonna put these conditions on the picks. Jimmy Howard did not. Sorry, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson did not want the players. He wanted the picks. He immediately waived one of the players, and 3 of the other players were directed to not start or play at all following that season.
Okay, so in that
So
case, do they
four
get the
picks
picks?
went from conditional to their
They
Cowboys.
got the picks. Okay.
So only one of them actually stayed on the team.
Okay.
Immediately, Jimmy Johnson's like, I'm not playing these guys.
I'd do the same. What the hell?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing it. It reminds me of that Stephen A. Smith. Like, I'm here to say it right now. We don't care. Like
We
that's like
don't
he
care.
does not care about these guys. So he has a bunch of picks now. Who do they become? They got about like legit like 5 to 7 like good players, but the 3 players I want to talk about or just mention is Russell Maryland and Darren Woodson were like mainstays on that defense, that really strong defense that Dallas had, and they got Emmett Smith, who is one of the best running backs of all time. Right?
Okay.
Imagine going from Herschel Walker, who's like a really good player, right, to Emmett Smith. You know, sometimes like when you trade a big time player and you get a pick back, like for example, when like Anthony Davis got traded and they got a pick back, and everyone's like, that pick could be anything. It could even be like Anthony Davis, and they got Zion Williamson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is the like, and most of the time that pick is not going to come out well. But this pick got way better. Like they were from
Yeah.
Herschel
It's
Walker.
like if they traded Anthony Davis and got, a LeBron in the
Yeah,
draft. Right.
that's
Okay.
basically what happened. They got Emmett Smith, and then Dallas went on to win in 1992, 1993, and 1995 through the trio of Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin, and Troy Aikman. So
Okay.
worked out for Dallas, right?
Yeah, that's a win. Yeah.
How'd the Vikings do?
Um, Look at them now. Right.
The Vikings never made the Super Bowl. They still have not made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The closest they've ever been is a championship game recently when they um, played just a few years ago and lost a lot to the Eagles, who then beat my team. Anyway, Herschel Walker left after 2 seasons. 2 seasons. He played 2 seasons. That's it, and they left.
That's crazy.
That
Damn.
is
Okay.
crazy, right? Because like to me, I would have that like sunken cost fallacy where it's like I put in a lot of money into this, so I'm going to commit. If I made that trade to Herschel Walker, he's staying on that team. I don't care if he's trash. That he's
100%.
starting.
100%. You could have a broken leg and can't run anymore.
Yeah,
My ego cannot take you leaving.
exactly. Anyway, he left. He played for the Eagles for a couple of years, played for the Giants a couple of years, which is weird, which I just realized. He played for 3 of the NFC East teams. And then ended his career back at the Cowboys, joined them in 1996. And if you're keeping up, that is a year after they won. So he just missed everything.
Dang.
Never won a championship, and that's it. This is the most lopsided trade in NFL history, is what people say. And what do you think, Ilz?
It's tough though, because it's like put yourself in the shoes of the Vikings, right? If someone knocks on your door and we're like, hey, yours a really good player, right?
Yeah.
Who's shown in the college level that he's insane, who's shown at the USFL that he's insane, who's had some good seasons, like you said. He was a pro bowler, right?
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, 2 times pro bowler. Here you go, have him. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to win. Obviously, I'm gonna give up whatever I can to try to win,
Yeah.
right? But you don't realize at the moment he comes in, he's gonna stink it. I mean, I don't know if he stunk, but it's like,
Well, he didn't make any more Pro Bowls after
yeah,
that.
it's like he didn't do anything for the Vikings. So it's like it sucks for them because it's like it's the worst trade in history in hindsight,
Yeah.
right? What do you think? I don't know.
I think that they should not have done those conditional picks. I don't know why they did that because like because they thought Jimmy Johnson would keep the players. But once you put a condition on, all he wanted was the draft picks. He didn't care about the players. I'm
Yeah,
just thinking, like, how did you not think that? You know what I mean?
that's true. You structured it poorly at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one other big lopsided trade, and depending on time, we might like look it up later on, in terms of another episode. But this is through all my years as like a sports nerd, reading about history, of every sport. This is like there's no way there's anything that could beat this. This is
Well, I'm curious
because
what it is.
of like you look back in hindsight, like no one thought that the Cowboys were going to win and become a dynasty,
Yeah.
based off of this trade started the dynasty. This trade is the reason why the Cowboys won 3 championships because of the big thing of Emmitt Smith. But they improved their defense. They just wow, they were awesome. Um, yeah,
Luck really played a role there,
it does. Well, luck plays a role in everything in sports. That's
for
what,
sure.
and I think luck plays a role in everything in life. But yeah, this brings us. Oh, go ahead.
I gotta ask you a question. Other than the one you want to talk about, what is, I guess, one of the most like, I guess, what's the nastiest trade you've ever seen?
And nasty
Or
trade,
like in recent memory, can you think of a trade that happened in recent memory that you're like, from the jump, this sucks?
like any sport.
Any sport, doesn't matter.
Oh wow, it's
I got a
it's like
couple in mind. I don't know.
oh go for it, go for it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna like agree on something.
I mean, the two I was thinking of, right? The first one is the Westbrook trade,
Oh
right?
yeah,
That one, even when it happened, I'm like, that makes no sense in terms
yeah,
of spacing and all the X's and O's. It literally makes no sense.
yeah.
Coming off a down year before, I think they were the champions, if I remember the
Yes,
timeline
they
correctly.
were the champions, and then they had the down year.
And then they were like, okay, let's blow it up. They got rid of KCP. They got rid of Kuzma. I forgot who else they got rid of. I forget, but
They
they
also
didn't
didn't
need
sign
that. So
Caruso.
yeah, they didn't sign Caruso, right? That one is just boggles my mind. The other one, more of a power of hindsight, but it's the Bryce Young trade. Or
Yeah,
like the Bears breaking
I
all
don't
that
blame the
stuff.
Panthers for doing that. I don't. I think Bryce Young still got it. He's played
I
1 year.
think he still has a chance, but it's also like you gave up a bunch to get this guy and you brought this guy in with no help and you expect him to do
They
well. And it's like,
traded his help. They basically they're like DJ Moore, you can leave.
yeah, Adam Thielen, come on in.
Hey, Adam Thielen was on my fantasy team, and he had a solid like 4 weeks. He did.
Because he was the only option.
He was the only
I
option.
literally had no option but to have 4 solid weeks.
Yeah. I felt really bad for Bryce Young. Another lopsided trade in hindsight, I guess. Well, no, you know what? I knew this was not going to work out from the beginning. Paul George, the Clippers, and the Clippers traded a bunch of chip picks. They also
Really?
traded Shea. I knew. Listen, I don't hate Paul George.
Yeah.
He's not a winner. He's
No, I
not
don't
a
think so.
winner. We just watched Kawhi Leonard hobble his way to a championship. I knew the injuries would continue. I knew the Clippers wouldn't win. To me, the dynasty is over, or the dynasty, the um, the contending years are over,
Yeah.
and they traded away Shea, who I knew was going to be. Listen, I sound like Trump, right? Where I'm just like,
I
I knew
knew
he's
it.
gonna,
I knew it.
I knew he was gonna be good. I knew Shea was gonna be great.
That's tough because it's like putting yourself in that time period. You don't know if I mean I'm gonna believe you when you say that, but it's like most people didn't know if Shea was gonna be that guy. And it's also like Paul George is Paul George, right? He's especially back then. That's a dude, right?
That's a dude. That's a guy.
That's a guy.
That is a male right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one. Like in the NFL, the trades are so weird, right? Because like you'd have a guy who's playing really well and he gets traded for like a third round pick. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like I'm a Patriots fan. We have traded a lot of good guys for nothing.
Yeah.
Um, so let's hope that doesn't keep happening. Um, but there have been some bad trades in all sports, like any of them. And usually it's because the team who gets the blockbuster player wins. Usually
Yeah.
that's like you're saying, like usually the team who gets the blockbuster player comes out as the winners. Not this time. Not this time, guys.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
fair.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of our episode. The NFL season starts soon, so it might be a little bit more NFL heavy until we hit the NBA, but MLB is about to hit September baseball and then October playoff baseball. So we'll see if maybe there'll be a little bit of baseball in here. Other than that, I am a Wheezy,
Hi, Mills.
and thank you. See you next time.